8th. This is the first docket of 2026. Happy New Year to everyone. I thought before we start, I would let you know that the next status conference docket on the 22nd of January, I will field questions as I did in late December, asking you any challenges you're having, any feedback on the new systems that we put in place November 1st and December 1st. So we'll have some time then to see how you're all doing and to see if we can improve our services at all. So with that in mind, my name is Gregory Chikalian. I'm the hearing examiner for the Oil Conservation Division. And today we have Andrew Fordyce as our technical examiner for most of our cases, and Phil Getz and Tony Harris for one case. That'll be the first case we call. It's number 1 on our docket, 25679. Entries of appearance, please.
Dana Hardy with Hardy McLean on behalf of Enterprise.
Morning, Mr. Hearing Examiner. Adam Rankin with the Santa Fe Office of Holland and Hart, appearing on behalf of Matador Production Company.
Thank you. Are you also representing MRC Toro?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
just want to make sure. Okay, and you do have your witnesses?
Mr. White is here in person,
White.
and then Mr.
In person.
Arredondo is available online if there are questions.
Okay, well, I know we're going to have questions for Mr. White. Would you come on up to the witness stand, please? Thank you. Would you turn on your microphone? Perfect. I recognize you from the Goodnight Empire?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember you. Who do you represent?
Enterprise.
Enterprise. But are you from a third-party consulting group?
Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yes,
And
from
what's your name?
Geolex Incorporated.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, would you raise your right hand? Please? You swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you very much. Would you state and spell your name for the record?
David White, DAVID
And based on what I've seen from the Goodnight Empire, I know that you've been accepted as an expert, but tell this forum in what field?
Yes, so my educational background is in geology, where I hold a Bachelor of Science from the University of Tennessee, as well as a master's degree from the University of New Mexico. I hold the position of Vice President and Senior Geologist at Geolex Incorporated, where my responsibilities include development of acid gas injection well applications and project development, as well as overseeing the geologic analyses and conducting the geologic analyses in support of those types of applications.
Perfect. All right. So, Ms. Hardy, why don't you give a very brief opening statement about this case? Let's get your exhibits admitted into evidence, and then we'll go to questions.
Sure, thank you. Enterprise seeks authorization to drill and operate an additional redundant acid gas injection well, the Independence AGI number 3, at its Dark Horse treating facility. The well will be a deviated injection well drilled in section 20, township 25 south, range 36 east. And the well will inject treated acid gas into the Siluro-Devonian formations, including the Devonian, Riston, and Fusselman formations at depths of approximately 16,056 to 17,730 feet. Our exhibits include the testimony with the C-108 and proposed notice of David White. And as you recognize, Mr. White has previously testified and been recognized as an expert by the division. We did provide a copy of his CV as well with our exhibits. The packet also includes the testimony of Daryl Arredondo, who has not previously testified before the division. We have provided a copy of his resume as Exhibit B1. And Mr. Arredondo is primarily a corporate representative here, but he is, I think, qualified as an expert in gas processing operations. So to the extent there are questions for him, I would move to have him qualified as an expert in that area. And then we included our notice testimony and exhibits, which was timely sent to all parties on October 16th, 2025, on our affidavit of publication for October 23rd, 2025. So with that, I would ask that our exhibits be admitted.
Thank you. Without exception, your exhibits are all admitted into evidence. We have two people here who work for the division. First, we're going to have Mr. Anthony Harris question Mr. White, and then we'll have Mr. Getz question whoever he wants. Sorry? I thought I heard a question.
I think that was online.
Online, okay. So, Mr. Harris, are you ready?
Yes, good morning.
Okay, go right ahead, sir.
Okay, I'd like to draw your attention to page 4 of 139 from the exhibit packet.
And you're sharing?
Yes.
Ms. Hardy?
Yes.
And what is page 4?
That looks
It's
like
the self-affirmed. It's the self-affirmed statement of Mr. White.
Okay, perfect. Go right ahead.
Okay, so paragraph 13, the very last sentence in the paragraph says the integrity of cementing operations will be verified by visual inspection and collection of radial cement bond logs for all casing strings underlying the surface casing. Just one question. So will the surface casing itself have a cement bond log run?
The surface casing would typically be verified via visual inspection of the cement returns to the surface. I think in practice, drilling and completion of these wells, we often do complete a surface casing cement bond log, and I think that can be done if requested by the division with no objection.
Okay.
Mr. Harris, Mr. Harris, it's hard to hear you. I just want to let you know.
Okay.
And we have AI doing the transcript, so it's important to speak clearly and that we can hear you.
Okay. I'm not sure what I can do about that. We're having some network issues here, but
Okay.
we'll do our best. Okay, if we could go to page 36, please.
I think you said page 36.
Correct, page 36. And in section 3.3, second paragraph, so if we look at the fourth line in that second paragraph, the second sentence where it says utilizing a temporary string comprised of a retrievable test packer and a work string tubing, a step rate injection test will be performed. Just want to confirm, since your tubing size in the final completion will be 3.5 inch, what will the diameter of this work string be? Will it also be 3.5 inch?
That's correct. Any step rate testing utilizing a work string tubing would be completed with the same diameter tubing as the completion.
Very good. Thank you. If we could go to page 38, please.
38.
38, yes. Yeah, if we look at the second last paragraph, if you could scroll down. Okay, so it mentions in that in the second sentence of that paragraph, the specific gravity of the treated acid gas will be determined for the conditions of the wellhead, which is 2,500 psi and 110 degrees Fahrenheit. And then the bottom hole temperature will be, bottom hole conditions will be 7720 psi and 234 degrees Fahrenheit. My question here is on the following page, as if we scroll down on page 39, we see that the maximum injection pressure will be 4,929 psi. So I guess my question is, why wasn't the specific gravity of your treated acid gas estimated at that maximum operating pressure?
So the maximum operating pressure on page 12, or I'm sorry, on page 39 of 139 is calculated as the anticipated average specific gravity across the entire injection zone, and utilized in the formula shown on that page, which has been shown to be an acceptable determination method by the Oil Conservation Division.
Okay, so I guess what would be your maximum anticipated injection pressure during normal operations?
Well, I think our anticipated maximum operating pressure is ultimately going to be in accordance with reservoir conditions and the attributes of the reservoir once the well is drilled. The current AGI wells that are on the property operate at average or in and around 2,500 PSI.
Okay, so that was the basis for you choosing 2,500 PSI as your anticipated conditions for this well number 3.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you. If we could go to page 62, please. So on page 62, we're looking at the completion diagram here. If we go down to the bottom for the production casing, just scroll down a little bit. Yeah, there you go. So where you see in red there, red lettering, the external casing packer and the DV tool, just below that, it mentions that your tail cement will be Neosem and your lead cement will be Neosem and some well-locked resin. Considering in your application, it mentions that your anticipated bottom hole temperature is 234 degrees Fahrenheit. And at that temperature, normal cement systems are susceptible to strength retrogression, whereby your cement becomes brittle and you can have cracking. And if any cracks develop, then that's a pathway for gas migration. So my question here is the well-locked resin and the Neosem cement, is it designed for that operating temperature of 230 degrees Fahrenheit, and whether or not those systems are susceptible to cracking or strength retrogression?
Yeah, these two cement slurries and well-lock resin utilization has been utilized in several AGI wells and have been a design consideration for numerous AGI wells. And those products have been selected through consultation with Halliburton engineers to assure slurries and resin slurries are suitable for the anticipated reservoir conditions. So having existing wells on the facility with known initial temperatures, we feel confident that these are adequate products for this application.
Okay, thank you. If we just look on the same page here, under your tubing and equipment, it mentions the second last line mentions a BWD, Halliburton BWD permanent packer. I couldn't find any real information on that packer, so I'm assuming that's corrosion resistant and nickel plated, or whatever metallurgy is necessary to provide adequate corrosion resistance.
That is correct. It is a fully Inconel 925 clad permanent injection packer.
Okay, very good. In terms of some of your other tubing components, if we just scroll up to the top of this page, you see in the surface casing on the right side, in the red lettering, you got a subsurface safety valve set at 250 feet. So I seem to recall in the application that mentioned that that'll be a tubing retrievable safety valve. Has any consideration been given to running a wireline retrievable safety valve?
At this time, I don't think there's been any consideration for that. We have had great success and have had great performance out of the tubing retrievable Halliburton products we utilize for the subsurface safety valve. At this point in time, there's been no consideration for wireline retrievable.
So, I mean, if that valve did fail, obviously you got to pull the tubing to replace it. Does your packer, will the packer be equipped with an on-off valve or some mechanism to release from the packer? If you had to pull the tubing to replace it?
That's correct. The packer and packer assembly contains numerous profile nipples where blanking plugs can be set at various steps to isolate the injection tubing.
Okay, so those are not shown on the diagram. So you would have profile nipples in below the packer or at the packer depth that would allow you to set a barrier, and then you can release from the packer and retrieve the tubing. That's correct. Okay, that'd be valuable information to have included in the application, and I guess as a supplemental information, we'd like to request that be included prior to issuing the order. Is there any concern with that?
That won't be a problem at all.
Request? Okay.
Yes, that won't be a problem at all.
Okay, very good. And I guess along those same lines, I didn't see any mention of the wellhead pressure rating and the Christmas tree pressure rating. So one thing we would request is that in supplemental package that it be clearly specified the wellhead design. It did mention that it's corrosion resistance, but there was no pressure ratings included. So what we would like to see is at least a diagram and some information on the wellhead and Christmas tree components, and particularly important as well would be the production casing spool pieces, such that if you had a leak in your tubing, then your production casing is exposed to the injection pressures, and just verification that your production casing spools and your side outlet valves are adequately rated for that scenario.
Absolutely.
So is that something?
Absolutely.
Is that something you can provide? Okay.
Yes, sir. And those equipment, while we have products that we commonly select for these AGI wells, I don't think that equipment at this time has been secured. Typically, and most recently, those ratings are up to 10K. Okay. But we can provide optionality and documents relating to that.
Okay. And then just a couple more items. If we could, based upon your estimation of what the abandonment pressure would be in the future for this well, one thing we'd like to see is, based upon the abandonment pressure, what sort of kill fluids, whether it's a mud or a brine, what would the density of the fluid be required to kill the well? Or in the event if you had to do a workover, what sort of fluid systems do you need to be able to work this well over, just to ensure, or if there's elaborate fluid systems needed in order to create a kill fluid. We'd just like to see some information on that to document what would be required. And along those same lines, looking forward to the future, when it comes time to plug and abandon the well, what sort of fluids would be needed, and what would your P&A program look like on at least on a current understanding of the well? How would you go about plugging and abandoning the well? So that's something we would also request prior to issuing the order, or at the very least as part of the order. Is there any concerns with that?
I don't think there's any concerns with that. Would that be okay? No, I don't think there's any concerns with that.
Okay. Yeah, because right now we don't know what the abandonment pressure would be. And if, depending on what that pressure was, if you need an elaborate brine or some, high density mud system, just making sure that it's something readily available locally, that in the event of a well control incident or a need to kill the well, is that we have the products available, and that you don't need, it's not a long-term item to source. That's the primary goal here.
Understood.
And then one final thing is that we would request as part of the order is that we've already got a H2S contingency plan in place for your two existing wells. We'd ask that that be updated to include this third well as part of the contingency plan. So that will be included in the order as well. Just wanted to mention that.
And for clarification, would that be included in the order as it commonly is, where those updates are implemented and approved prior to operation or commencement of injection via the well?
Yes, correct. That would be, that's notionally, that's how we would handle it.
Understood.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions. I'll hand it over to Mr. Getz.
All right, before we do that, Ms. Hardy, do you have any redirect on those questions?
I do not, as long as Mr. White understands the supplemental information that's been requested.
Why don't you just state what you understand so far as supplemental information that Mr. Harris requested?
That we would need to develop a preliminary abandonment plan to provide information on what the anticipated abandonment pressures are. Also, a detailed schematic of the packer showing the profile nipples that this particular component will have, as well as a schematic or pressure ratings for the injection tree and associated casing spools.
Mr. Harris, does that capture accurately what you want?
Yes, it does. And
Was
I can
anything-
follow up on an email also if that'd be beneficial.
That would be helpful.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
I can do that.
All right, Mr. Getz?
Okay, good morning all. Most of my questions and requests will be to Ms. Hardy. I have 5 items. It'll include a little bit of input from Mr. White. My first item is that typically, well, in the C-108, we don't have a description of the deviation survey to be conducted following the completion of the well. I'm going to ask Enterprise to approach Matador, who's made an entry of appearance, and come to an agreement as to what type of deviation survey they would like to see and incorporate that as part of the completion plan for this well. And make sure that we have some sort of response from Matador as to their approval of the survey methodology. So you understand that, Ms. Hardy?
Yes, I do.
Okay, good. Give Mr. Rankin something to do. Second item, we have qualified this facility for a 45Q tax credit. In doing so, under the requirements of that, there is a monitoring, reporting, and verification plan that is submitted to EPA and IRS. At this point, we are requesting that you provide a copy of that MRV plan that was submitted. And I'm sure that with the addition of the new well, there will be a modification of that. So we will probably put into the conditions of approval requirement to provide us with supplemental modified MRV plans. So that's item number 2. Any questions
Understood.
on that? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Number 3, we have an existing case in this facility. It is case number 24755. That was a request for an increase from 20 to 28.5 standard cubic feet per day, million standard cubic feet per day of increased capacity for the 2 wells. We've gone through the motions to put together a draft order. Currently under this application, and if you need to be specific, on page 28 of 139, we've asked for a 45 million capacity. At this point, I do not see the reason why we would go ahead and have the director sign in order for an increase when you've already, shall we say, covered it again with this application. So I'm recommending that Enterprise submit a request for dismissal of the case and referral to this as a to take over the necessity for the increased capacity. Does that seem feasible?
I believe it does. So the 45 million shared that we requested here would basically supersede the request from the case you're referencing, right?
Correct. I mean,
Okay.
it's a moot point. I mean, by the time we get this one out, it'll be out at the same time the other one is, and it'll just be one more exercise in paper that the director normally doesn't like to see.
That
Okay,
makes
so-
sense to me.
Okay, thank you. But with that, I do have one question to Mr. White. And since we are moving from 20 to 28.5 to 45, in the application, we have very little discussion as to how this 45 million is going to be spread among the 3 wells. Is there any type of operational plan or concept that Enterprise is going to utilize with the 3 wells, just as in general description? That's all I'm looking for.
So I think in the current service, the wells have been able to split generally 50-50 between the volume that's being injected. Obviously, once AGI 3 is drilled and reservoir attributes are identified and confirmed, certainly those with higher injectivity potential will probably be utilized for a greater volume. But ultimately, the performance of the wells will speak to that.
Okay, so we're looking at a maximum scenario based on the 3 wells, and based upon operational standards, you're not going to be doing 45 million a day with the 3 wells together. Is that foreseeable, or is it just keeping an envelope for operations?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the first part of that question?
So I got 3 wells with 45 million option. We're not going to see all 3 wells injecting at 45 million on the same day, are we?
No,
Okay.
it's intended to be a shared volume between the 3 wells.
Okay. So that's the end of item 3. Item 4, back to Miss Hardy. We have currently in the location another existing case, and that is case number 16504. And this one's a little sticky wicket. This is an application by NGL Water Solutions for the Cobra SWD number 1. It was heard and taken under advisement way back in 2019, on July 25th, 2019. It was protested, and it has yet to have an order issued. I'm going to request that you approach NGL. And yes, Ms. Bennett is smiling. She still represents NGL. That the ability for you to convince them to submit a dismissal. They did it for their number 2, which was very close to the number 1. And this would accommodate us to issue a dismissal order and resolve any type of conflict in reservoir. Otherwise, we will all be gathering again to talk about this. This was also heard with the commission, and they expressed concern with the original order, R-21445. So request number 4 is to see if we can convince NGL to give a dismissal in case number 16504.
I will talk with Ms. Bennett about that.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
suppose my question is, with respect to the fact that Enterprise operates its other injection wells already at this location, how depending in application of NGL would be a concern with this. I guess I don't understand why it's being raised at this point when it wasn't an issue with respect to the other applications.
Because it is one of many NGL applications that are still in the taken under advisement mode that we are trying to clean up. The original examiner that heard it is now an employee of the State Land Office. And unfortunately, it has fallen in my lap to resolve this. And I'm hopefully that the operators in the areas can come to an agreement and avoid, shall we say, more confrontation on poor space. And that way we can get this off the books.
Okay, understood. I will talk with Ms. Bennett.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then the last item is merely an informational request to Mr. White. In section 4.9 of your application, that would be page 50 of 139, we have, or it's actually 53 of 139 in the seismicity assessment. You make reference to the fact that we have an active seismic monitoring station. Do you know if that information is being shared with the public at this point and with our folks down at New Mexico Tech Seismological Observatory?
So when I installed the station, I worked with Dr. Mary Litherland at the Bureau to get that station set up and get it communicating via cellular connection to their network. In that collaboration and coordination, the station was accessible by Dr. Litherland. And so I think to the extent that I know it's connected, I believe so.
Okay. I mean, I can follow up, but I just wanted to verify that where it was in that status and confirm that it is active and providing information.
That's
Thank
correct.
you.
And I routinely, when I'm in the area of the site, I routinely check to make sure the station is still functioning. And if there are any communication issues, we can certainly work to resolve those quickly.
Very good. Making sure it hasn't been shot up. That's very important. Thank you. That's all the questions I have, sir.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Mr. Getz. Any follow-up on that?
I had one question, Mr. Getz, regarding case 24755 involving the request for the pressure increase. I just want to make sure that it would be clear in the division's order in this case that the shared rate applies to all three of the wells, since that well does have a separate permit.
Well, in your application, and that's on 28 of 139, you do express the 45 million, disposed 45 million treated gas via the 3 independent AGI wells. So that would be based upon your application, the availability of 45 million for all 3 wells.
Understood. And if possible, I think we'd bless you. I think we'd like to wait if possible. Can we leave that application pending until we receive the final order in this case?
Sure, if you
Okay.
wish to do that, but be forewarned that I will not press. The person who completed this draft order has since departed. And with that, we will hold it in stasis and should at that time, but we will press for, with the issuance of this order, a request that this be dismissed.
Perfect. Thank you. Understood.
All right. Mr. Harris, I don't see you anymore, but did anything else come up while you were listening that you want to follow up on?
No follow-up. Thank you.
All right. And Mr. Getz, you're done? All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Harris and Mr. Getz. Ms. Hardy, is there anything else?
No, thank you very much.
All right, then we're off the record for now on this case. And Ms. Hardy, when do you anticipate filing the supplemental information?
Mr. White, how long would it take you to prepare the supplemental information?
I think I'll need a little bit of time to coordinate with Enterprise. In terms of the schematics, those information can be gathered pretty quickly. In terms of the abandonment plan, might take a little bit more development. So I'd say a week to 2 weeks.
Okay, so Ms. Hardy, when do you want to come back?
I think if we could come back on the February 4th docket, that would probably make the most sense.
Okay, Freya, can we, so Ms. Hardy, you'll continue this case to the February, you said 5th?
5th, it is the 5th, right?
I think
Yes.
it is.
Yes, correct.
So Freya, can we put this case first once she continues the case?
Yes.
All right, perfect. All right, we are in recess.
Mr. Shukian, just a quick
Yes,
point on
Mr.
this.
Rankin.
We appreciate it when Mr. Harris sends his email identifying the additional information that we'd be included in that, just so we're up to speed on the information that's being requested. And then also confirm that we'll coordinate with counsel for Enterprise on the deviation survey at Mr. Getz's request.
I didn't understand. I understood you wanted to be copied on the new information. What else did you say?
We've been asked to coordinate with Enterprise counsel on the type of deviation survey.
Type of
I believe
deviation
that's
survey.
correct. So I'll coordinate with Ms. Harding on that point.
Yeah, so that's acceptable to you, Ms. Hardy?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. Rankin. Anything else?
Nothing. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we're in recess on that case. Let's now go to
Thank you.
3 of our NOV cases. We'll call them one at a time. We're going to start out with 25794.
Hello, Mr. Hearing Officer Michael Hall here on behalf of OCD.
Morning, Mr. Hall. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes,
All right, and do we have the respondent?
the respondent has sent a couple of emails by and through Mr. Joshua Ogeen, a designated representative of the respondent. In those emails, Mr. Ogeen has made it clear that POCO is unable to properly operate their wells and do not have the financial resources to hire counsel or plug wells.
Did you, okay, and the respondent here is POCO Resources.
Yes, Mr. Hearing Officer.
And did you include those emails in your exhibit packet?
I included in the NOV the first, I've had 2 of those communications stipulating, I would say, to a lack of financial ability to operate in New Mexico. The second one I did not because it came yesterday.
All right. So why don't you go ahead and first of all, how many exhibits do you have?
I have, I believe 4, well, they're sub exhibits to the NOV, but I have the affidavit of Rob Jackson with the Administrative Bureau of OCD, as well as his resume. Exhibit 3 is the NOV with the inactive wells in POCO's portfolio, a civil penalty calculation. A stipulated final order is the 3rd exhibit to the NOV, which they have soundly violated, and the aforementioned email from Mr. Ogeen representing to OCD POCO's lack of resources.
And when you say a stipulated final order, what do you mean by stipulated?
So POCO was, before my time at OCD, POCO, an NOV had already been filed against them. And so a stipulated final order, which is Exhibit C to the NOV, was entered into between the respondent and OCD. Respondent entirely failed to comply with it, as evidenced by the fact that they have 67 wells in New Mexico, 65 are inactive. The other 2 are in fact plugged, not released, because I guess there's some remediation, so they haven't been released. Recently, I'm getting my cases. Yeah, I believe POCO had an emergency order had to be issued against them because of their inability to respond. So
I know you have 3 different NOVs before the hearing bureau today. let's do this in this order. So I've called the case, and I know that there are people here on the meeting that I don't know who they are. So I'm going to call the case again to see whether their respondent is attending. 25794, the OCD versus POCO Resources. Do we have anyone from POCO Resources with us on this meeting today? All right, not hearing anyone. This is basically a default hearing at this point. So why don't you admit your evidence, give me, for each of the cases, give me a paragraph or so on the background of the case.
Sure.
What are the basic allegations?
Sure.
What is the penalty calculation? What did you do to give the respondent due process? And then ask for admission into evidence for your exhibits.
Sure. Happy to do that. Thank you. So with regard to POCO, again, 67 wells, they operate in New Mexico, 65 of which are on the inactive well list. The other 2 are plug not released. And so we're asking that all of their wells be subject to plugging orders so that we can remediate those other 2. Mr. Rob Jackson, who I mentioned, buying through his affidavit, and well, first of all, we would offer exhibits 1, 2, 3, and 4 as submitted in our pre-hearing statement, and I'll go through those. But Mr. Jackson.
So Mr. Hall, you're offering them now into evidence?
I'm offering that. I'm
Okay,
happy
fine.
to give you a synopsis, but just in case I forget to do it later, I've done it. That's my practice, and I'll do it again if it pleases
So
you.
let's deal with it once during each case. So I don't hear any objections to your exhibits. So they're admitted into evidence without exception.
Great.
Go right ahead.
Sure. Mr. Jackson did, in accordance with OCD's custom and practice, a civil penalty calculation with regards to POCO. That amount is $156,150. We, as attested to in Miss Sarah Griego, law clerk with OCD's affidavit, we submitted both certified mail and electronic mail to POCO's designated representatives in the OCD permitting system. And in fact, we know those were received because we received the green card back. And we also, again, Mr. Ogeen emailed me this morning asking, should they attend? And I said, that's up to you. We will proceed seeking the remedies in this matter, whether you're here or not.
I have a question for you. When
Sure.
you say designated representative, what do you mean?
So I mean, in OCD permitting on the operator page, they list individuals and these are submitted to OCD. They list individuals and email addresses as well as a physical address. These are provided by the operator. That's what I mean by that. And that's, in some cases, we go above and beyond that if we know of another email. In this particular case, I believe it was just the information submitted to OCD permitting. That would be Adam Ogeen and Joshua Ogeen at their certified mail to their listed address, as well as electronic mail.
So what I'm understanding from you is POCO Resources is an entity that is represented by the Ogeens?
That's Joshua Ogeen is the only individual who, again, is listed as a representative in OCD permitting. That is the only individual that I have been in contact with. But I have had, I believe, 3 emails since the filing of the NOV with him. 2 of which say we can't do this. What should we do? And then the one this morning asking should they attend, and I said that's up to you.
So you're representing to the forum here that that they never contested representing POCO Resources.
Oh, no, not at all. In fact, I think in one, he said his dad does most of the work for POCO, but he handles the communications and things like that. So So no, I have every reason to believe that he has both actual and apparent authority to act on behalf of POCO, and they're not here.
Okay, so we've accepted your exhibits into evidence. You have testified to the due process that was provided under the rule, and we're dealing with what, 1915.5 here?
We're dealing with 5, 7, and 8 with regards to the civil penalties, but OCD's overarching concern is certainly getting plugging orders for all these wells. So
What I mean by that is the rule that controls adjudication for this type of malfeasance is 1915.5, right?
correct, absolutely.
And that sets out the process for due process for the respondent. Okay.
Absolutely in agreement with you on that,
Okay,
Mr.
and
Hearing
you
Officer.
followed that rule.
I do. I'm looking at it right now,
Good.
and I believe that OCD is in total compliance with that rule.
Is there anything else about this case?
No, we would ask for leave to submit an order to you encompassing the relief we've requested in this matter.
Perfect. All right, excellent. Let's go on. So I'm going to ask again, is POCO Resources or a representative for the respondent available today? Okay, so POCO Resources and their representative did not appear today. So this case is, we're in recess on this case, and the hearing exhibit is closed at this point. Okay, let's go on to Dominion Production 25795.
Very good. Well, OCD is ready to proceed,
Go right ahead.
Mr. Hearing Officer. Thank
So
you.
do we have anyone from Dominion Production available today? Not hearing anyone. So go right ahead, Mr. Hall.
Thank you. A very similar fact pattern other than non-responsiveness from Dominion since the filing of the NOV. I can also tell you that in prior negotiations with Dominion and another entity that was seeking to buy their wells fell through because that entity wanted indemnification from OCD, so that didn't occur. But I can tell you that we did send emails to Mr. Weirs, I believe is his name, who's the registered representative of Dominion. And we were in communication prior to the filing of the NOV. So I have reason to believe that that's one case where we sent all the information in OCD permitting. But I believe there was another email we were familiar with that we also, in an abundance of caution, sent the documents and pleadings in this matter to there.
So how many wells are inactive here?
128. I believe. Let me double check that. Because they also, I think they have four that are plugged, not released as well. So they're completely non-compliant as well. Let me double check that. Because the 128 might be the total number of wells. Yeah, 124 on the inactive well list, 4 additional wells, which equal 128 total wells in New Mexico. Those 4 are plugged, not released. Again, based on the non-responsiveness. This is a matter where OCD had to last month after the filing of the NOV. The OCD, there was a release on one of those plugged, not released wells. And so, and I believe there's some testimony in our affidavits regarding that. I can represent to you that they have been completely unresponsive. OCD had to go out and do the work on that. So not only have they been non-responsive to the NOV, they have also not responded to, and it is an exhibit 5 in this case, which is the enforcement notification that was sent December 16th of 25. And they were given a deadline of December 31st to respond and entirely failed to do that. And as we sit here today, it's my understanding that they not only have been non-responsive, but have failed to respond.
So you said you were in contact with Mr. Weirs?
Yes, and he's a German man, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing, but that's my understanding.
So you were in contact with Mr. Weirs and he is the representative for Dominion?
Yes,
Production?
I believe he's the owner, but yes, as far as we're concerned, he's the designated representative of the operator being Dominion.
And you said before that operators are required to file some document with the OCD that says who their representative is, right?
Yes.
How often do they do that? Is it annual or is it just one time only?
I don't want to be out of line on that. I'm not familiar with the exact, I believe it's when they register. And then if there's a change, they're required to submit the change, within a reasonable amount of time. But I say that without looking at the rule on that. But my understanding through the grapevine and speaking to people who deal with that at OCD is that's how that's done.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Hall. Mr. Jackson, do you know?
Mr. Hall's correct.
He is correct.
Yes.
So you do it one time and then if there's a change, you're required to update the records?
Yes, they have access to log in themselves and maintain their own record.
With their OGRID number?
With their own number, they log in. And they
Okay.
maintain their contact information as it changes.
Okay. So the burden is on the operator to comply with this information.
Correct.
Okay. So it's their responsibility to keep it up to date.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So you were in communication, Mr. Hall, with Mr. Weirs before the NOV was filed.
Correct.
After that, they went silent.
Correct.
Okay. How many exhibits do you have in this case?
5.
What are they?
They are Mr. Jackson's affidavit and resume, the NOV and attached exhibits, Ms. Griego's affidavit, and the aforementioned enforcement notification, which is Exhibit 5. We would offer all 5 of those exhibits.
And they're accepted into evidence without exception, since there's no one here from the respondent to object. What is the civil penalty in this case?
The civil penalty in this case, OCD is requesting is $324,000.
Okay, all right. And you'll provide a proposed order for?
Absolutely.
All right, sounds good. So you'll send me the proposed orders, I'll review them, and then we'll get them to the director.
Great.
All right, let's call the third and last case for the OCD this morning. This is 25802 Nitro Oil and Gas.
Yes, OCD is ready to proceed. We have not heard anything from Nitro. And in fact, some of our mails bounced back, our green cards. We did send them as attested to by Ms. Griego to the addresses, email and physical that Nitro provided us. They've also had an emergency.
Let me just see.
Sure,
If
sure.
we have anyone from Nitro with us today. Anyone here representing Nitro Oil and Gas? Not hearing anyone. Mr. Hall, how many exhibits do you have on this case?
5. The first 4 being the same 4 in the previous 2, affidavit, resume, NOV, affidavit of both respectively Mr. Jackson and Ms. Griego. There's also an emergency order that was recently done by the director, which Nitro entirely failed to respond to or deal with.
Okay.
And so
So
OCD was forced to.
So you've never been in contact with Nitro at all? Not
At all.
before or after?
Both either on the emergency order, I believe I can certainly speak for myself, but I don't think anyone at OCD has spoken to them about that. That was a serious release, as well as the NOV. No one has communicated from Nitro.
And Mr. Hall, you're submitting Mr. Jackson's resume for what purpose?
Just to show that he is competent and to make the affidavit and to assert the matters he does in his affidavit. That's the purpose.
So it's my interpretation of the rules of evidence, which we use as a guide here, that this would be beyond lay testimony. This would be of some sort of an expert in some way.
I think he has. I don't know if I would characterize him as an expert witness. I think he's certainly competent And I wouldn't quibble with him being an expert. He's competent and able to testify to the matters he does, namely the procedures laid out in his affidavit at OCD, as well as his ability to supervise matters within the administrative bureau at OCD. So I'm not trying to avoid your question, but I haven't really thought about whether he's an expert witness. I think he's a competent, reliable witness to the matters he's asserted.
All right. Mr. Jackson, would you come up to the witness stand, please? Thank you. Will you turn on the microphone, please? All right, now let's see. I'm going to pull up the Rule 11-702. And let's get Mr. Jackson qualified as an expert, because there's no reason you need to keep providing his resume
Okay.
once we get him admitted as an expert for this division.
An expert in administrative compliance?
Exactly.
Okay, great.
All right, so let me swear him in, and then why don't you lay a foundation for his qualifications? But I wanted to read, an expert's opinion must stem from reliable scientific, technical, or other specialized knowledge and is reliable application to the case. So I'm focusing more on specialized knowledge here.
Okay, great.
Okay, either based on training, based on work experience, based on education, whatever it is, just elicit a foundation so that I can find him to be an expert in the administrative compliance field. Mr. Jackson, would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Would you spell your name for the record?
ROBJACKSON.
Put your hand down. And go right ahead, Mr. Hall.
Oh, thank you. You've stated your name, Mr. Jackson. How are you employed?
I'm employed as a compliance supervisor in Oil Conservation Division of the Energy, Minerals, and Natural Resources Department.
Do you mind if I call it OCD?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you worked for OCD?
This year will be 5 years.
2021, is that, am I accurate in stating that's when you began working for OCD?
Correct.
Okay. Now, prior to that, you had some supervisory type experience, is that correct?
Correct.
But not necessarily in something like administrative compliance for a state agency, is that correct?
That's correct.
Fair to say that most of your experience with regards to the affidavit we've submitted in this matter has been acquired during your time at OCD?
Yes.
Okay. Now, are you familiar with, well, let's start with civil penalty calculations with regards to NOVs.
Yes.
And in fact, you do those, don't you?
I put those together. It's on a spreadsheet that has algorithms and formulas in the background that were put together by legal based on other rules that are outside of my purview.
And however, you're able to synthesize those and the document as submitted in this matter, you're familiar with what's in there and able to compile that information, correct?
Correct.
And so, and you follow the OCD custom when you do so, is that right?
Yes, I do.
Are you familiar with researching within OCD permitting inactive wells for operators?
Very much so. Yeah.
C-140, all kinds of documents that are submitted to OCD are required to be submitted. You're familiar with that, correct?
Yes, I am.
And so also financial assurance, whether that's compliant with the relevant rules.
Yes, my office and my team are responsible for the bonding and financial assurance.
You're familiar with the process of filing NOVs against non-compliant operators, correct?
I'm familiar with the creation of the NOV and then submitting it to legal.
You assist in the process of compiling information and ensuring that it's accurate in the process of filing NOVs. Was that fair to say?
I do, yes.
Okay, thank you. And I'm just I'm looking through your affidavit here to make sure we're hitting what we need to. C-115s, you're familiar with the process of those needing to be provided by operators on wells they're operating, correct?
On a monthly basis, yes.
Okay. You're able to communicate with other individuals at OCD regarding responsiveness of operators to things like emergency releases or inactive wells, correct?
Not so much on the releases, but on the inactivity of the wells, yes.
Okay, you're able to speak, for instance, to me or to Ms. Griego or other people that even if you're not talking to operators about that, you're able to communicate with those people and find out whether they've been responsive, correct?
Correct. Also, the public facing OCD permitting allows you to research that.
Okay. That that's all my questions. Certainly would
I have a follow-up. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Hall. I have a follow-up, Mr. Jackson. What databases do you routinely use?
Oh, for the compliance, it's the OCD permitting database.
So there's one database.
It's I don't know how IT has it set up, if it's pulling from multiple databases or one, but it's from one end user interface, basically.
And what does that database, what information does that provide to you?
For the purposes of these, it would be the C-115 reporting. Have they reported? Action status is how they report or how often they have reported in the past. The C-115 then allows me to see the inactivity or the activity of the well.
Okay.
And then I can research if they've submitted any other filings, C-145s for transferring wells or whatnot.
Is that a different database?
I don't, it's the same interface,
Okay,
but I don't know about database.
the
Yeah.
permitting system.
Yes.
And let's try to cover other types of cases that you're going to be bringing before the Division for Hearing Bureau, because I'm going to get you qualified as an expert to overarch all the different types of NOVs that you're going to file. Are there any other databases like for the bonding issues that you use?
There is the bonding database, but that's not publicly facing. So that's only internally facing. So I do use that one. That is, IT probably has that set up as a separate database because it's not publicly accessible.
How long have you been using these two databases?
For my entire time, 4.5 years, 5 years almost.
Do you have any reason to believe that they're not accurate?
No, we recently did an audit of the bonding database to clean that one up because it had some discrepancies and we got that cleared up.
You were involved in that?
Yes.
Okay. But you don't have any reason to believe that the permitting databases has factual errors in it?
There's I wouldn't say errors as much as needs to be some that need to be caught up more timely, but the data is correct for me to review. Yes.
So when you're researching a respondent such as nitro oil and gas, let's say, how do you make sure that the database is current for them?
I go to the action stat. This is mostly an honor system from the operators to report. So I only have the data that they give us.
Right.
And I use the database about action status to see when they last reported any certain filing.
Oh.
And that lets me know if it's up to date.
Oh. All right. So Mr. Jackson, from here on in, you're qualified as an administrative compliance expert before this division. You don't have to include your resume anymore.
Will do.
On your cases. Okay. All right. Mr. Hall, let's see. Is there anything left on the nitro oil and gas case?
I would like, if I did, I apologize for being redundant. Not sure if I offered the 5 exhibits, so I certainly do that now. And we would ask the same relief in addition to this is really for all three, removal of their ability to transport. So, and I will, which we pled for and asked for and as a remedy set out. Their total non-responsiveness to emergencies, as well as serious matters like this NOV, I think, evidences their inability to protect the people in New Mexico.
And what's the civil penalty calculation on nitro?
It's a little lower. The civil penalty for nitro, let me find it here, is it's 39,600 plus 2,500 from environmental regarding the release. So for a total of $42,100.
All right, your exhibits are admitted without exception. Mr. Jackson, one last question on these three cases. Do we have bonds? Does the division is holding bonds on all three operators?
I do believe so.
So do you then seek to forfeit the bonds?
That would be legal's decision if they forfeit it, and then I do the data work behind that to forfeit it. Yes.
And does that,
I can respond to that.
Oh, okay.
It certainly, if it pleases you,
Yeah.
Mr. Hearing Officer. As a general custom, I believe, and I think it's arguable whether this is required, but I think it probably is. Once we have plugging costs associated, that's then, and recently we did get a lot of bond forfeiture money at OCD relating to that. But now I think there might be a process going forward, which we're exploring internally, to add the sureties to these NOV matters, which I think wouldn't require necessarily those plugging costs to actually be realized before a forfeiture. So in the future, we anticipate that will happen, but at this time, until we have orders ordering the plugging, OCD is unable to do so. And so it's a bit of a convoluted process, but I hope that answers your question.
it does. So once the director signs the order, then the plugging can begin. Once the plugging is over, then you have a bill to maybe put against the bond.
That's accurate.
All right. But the bond does not go toward the civil penalties.
Correct.
Okay.
It goes toward plugging costs. It's a plugging bond.
Okay, Mr. Hall, thank you. Is there anything left on these three cases?
No, I appreciate your attention to this matter.
Mr. Jackson, thank you. Okay, we're off the record in those three cases. Let's go on to number 5, Longfellow Energy. And I believe at this point we have Mr. Fordyce with us. Yes, I see him. Excellent. Good morning, Mr. Fordyce. We're going to begin with case number 25635, Longfellow.
Good morning, Sharon Shaheen on behalf of Longfellow Energy.
Good morning.
We're here today simply because we had to fix a typo in the CPAP. So we did file revised exhibits on December 24th and with the corrected case number on the CPAP. And I believe that's all that is at issue.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Shaheen. Your exhibits are accepted into evidence and the case is taken under advisement.
Thank you.
Moving on to Permian Resources. These are, it looks like 3 cases, 25773, 74, and 75.
Yes, Jackie McLean on behalf of Permian Resources.
Good morning.
Good morning. And there's no other party that's entered
very
in
good.
appearance.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. In case numbers 25773, 74, and 75, Permian Resources seeks an order pulling all uncommitted interest in the Wolfcamp and Bone Spring formations underlying all of sections 19, 20, and 21, Township 21 South, Range 26 East in Eddy County. And these units will be dedicated to the Solstice FedCom wells. Exhibits were timely submitted for this case last week, but we did file an amended exhibit packet yesterday just to correct a couple of typos, which was reflected on a notice on a cover sheet. And the amended exhibit packets include land testimony and corresponding exhibits of Daniel Curry, geology testimony, as well as notice testimony that shows that we timely sent notice to all interested parties on November 10th and 11th, as well as an affidavit of publication for November 15th. With that, I ask that the exhibits be admitted for case numbers 25773 through 25775, and that the cases be taken under advisement.
your exhibits are admitted without exception. Before I turn to Mr. Fordyce for questions, just out of my curiosity, why do you think that no other party has entered an appearance in these three cases?
I don't think that we got an entry of appearance from anyone.
Yeah. But no, what I mean is why do you think there was no interest in?
Oh, and these?
Yes.
That's a good question. I guess none of the people that are fighting with each other were needed to be noticed about this section. Or they've already worked a deal or something. I often wonder that myself.
Okay.
But this one, we're good to go.
It was great. Yes. Mr. Fordyce, do you have questions?
Yes, I have questions for the landman.
Landman, who's your landman?
Well, so Mr. Corey's wife is currently having a baby.
Okay.
So we
have another
have,
expert.
yes, we have, Sean Johnson from Permian Resources is available for questions.
Okay, and let's,
And I can pull up,
I see him. So I'm waving. There he is. All right, good morning, Mr. Johnson. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Spell your name, please.
Sean, Sean, last name Johnson, Johnson.
All right, and Mr. Johnson, have you been previously recognized by this division as an expert?
Yes, sir, I have.
In what field of expertise?
Petroleum land management.
Okay, so did you review the underlying data in this case?
Yes, I have. All of Daniel's exhibits were built underneath my supervision.
Okay, very good. And you've come to your own expert opinion about this case?
That's correct.
All right, very good. Okay, Mr. Fordyce, go right ahead.
Mr. Johnson, I'd like to direct you to, right now I'm looking at case 25773, and I'm looking at exhibit A3 on page 18, which is unit recapitulation for this application.
Okay. We'll put it up on the screen.
You can if you want to. It looks like Mr. Johnson has it in front of him.
Okay.
Yes, sir, I do. Got it. Specifically, I'm going to point out that this unit recapitulation shows Powderhorn as a party that's a working interest owner that's not being pooled. It also shows that Tascosa Energy Partners is not being pooled as record title owner, as well as Fasken Acquisitions 2 not being pooled as record title owner. I'd like to direct your attention to page 52, which should be exhibit A6. And it seems like in this exhibit, there are some discrepancies with that unit recapitulation we were just viewing. The first thing being Fasken is listed as a working interest and record title owner, when in the track breakdowns, they're only shown as a record title owner. The second thing being that working interest owner Powderhorn is shown in this exhibit as uncommitted. And thirdly, Tascosa Energy Partners record title owner in tract 1 is unlisted. So there seems to be some discrepancies between the two exhibits.
So I can start with Fasken. So we have acquired the working interest and the record title of Fasken Acquisition 2 Ltd. So
Okay.
Permian Resources, we have assignments of record and record title as to that interest. So I'm assuming when these exhibits were submitted was kind of in that interim period between closing and filing. So that interest will be reflected underneath Permian Resources operating for the working interest and the record title.
Okay, secondly, then is Powderhorn committed or uncommitted?
The Powderhorn is committed.
And thirdly, I don't see Tascosa Energy Partners listed on this exhibit.
So Tascosa Energy Partners should, that's also an umbrella of Permian Resources Operating.
Okay,
As to the record title, and it looks like the working interest is rolled up into Permian Resources Operating. So I think in summary, Tascosa is Permian, and then the Fasken interest that was questioned is also Permian. And then Powderhorn is committed.
can we have this updated to reflect that Powderhorn's committed?
We can get that.
And maybe denote that that Permian has this relationship with Fasken and Tascosa.
Yes.
I'd also like to just visit with you for a moment about, in this case, the pool is Avalon Wolfcamp gas. So I don't know that it's, and just to mention it, I don't know that it will have a big impact in this particular case. But I see that there are, in the geology exhibits, 3 other wells proposed for this spacing unit that are not listed in this application. And just wanted to point out that setbacks for gas pools are not 330 and 100. They're 660 and 330.
Right.
So for this case, I believe you're probably going to need NSLs for your first and last take points. And you may, with that said, I don't know if that will impact the placing of these 3, which I assume you're going to place wells as infill wells in this spacing unit.
Yeah, you're exactly correct on the setbacks, and we have already discussed and already have in motion to file NSLs for the first take point and last take point for our wells.
Very good. For the other 2 cases, 25774 and 775, I would make the same request for the discrepancies between Exhibit A3 unit recapitulation and Exhibit A6 ownership commitment.
You got it. Yes, sir.
Appreciate your time. That's all I had on those cases.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fordyce. So let's see, Ms. McLean, would you continue these cases to the February 5th docket? We'll hear them at the beginning of the docket. We don't have another place to put them as of now. If there was, I would give it to you. Is there anything else on these cases?
Not from Permian Resources.
Do you have any follow-up with either your witness or Mr. Fordyce?
No, I think I understand.
Perfect. All right,
Thank you.
excellent. All right, we are off the record in these 3 Permian cases. Next is 25778 Burnett Oil.
Good morning, everyone. Ben Holiday on behalf of the applicant.
Good
Burnett
morning,
Oil.
Mr. Holiday.
Good morning. And we did not have any other entries of appearance in this case.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so in case 25778, Burnett Oil Company seeks to pool the Yeso Formation underlying a 321.4 acre standard horizontal spacing unit. It's comprised of the north half of section 19, township 18 south, range 27 east in Eddy County. So this unit in this case will be dedicated to the Aggie 1H, 2H, 3H, 31H, and 32H wells. So turning to exhibits, we have the self-affirmed statements of landman Christine Pilgrim and geologist Trey Cortez. Both Ms. Pilgrim and Mr. Cortez have been previously qualified by the division and recognized as experts in their respective disciplines. They're also both available if you guys have any questions. I just want to point out real quick, we did submit an amended exhibit packet this week. The purpose of that was just to remove some of the pooled parties. This case was originally filed in November and then was bumped back. So in that interim period, we're seeking to pool less parties due to commitments and acquisitions. Exhibit A, Ms. Pilgrim provides standard land exhibits as shown in our table of contents. Exhibit B, Mr. Cortez provides standard geology. Exhibit C is our CPAC, and Exhibit D includes my notice affidavit and associated attachments. Notice in this case was timely sent on November 12, 2025 by certified mail, and we also timely published in the Carlsbad Current Argus on November 18, 2025. So with that, unless there's any questions, I request that the exhibits be admitted and that these cases be taken under advisement.
Thank you, Mr. Holliday. Your exhibits are admitted without exception. Mr. Fordyce, do you have questions here?
Yes, Mr. Hearing Examiner, I have questions for the landman.
Perfect. Mr. Holliday?
Okay, I believe Ms. Pilgrim's on the line and available remotely.
I see. Thank you. Good morning, Ms. Pilgrim. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Would you spell your name, please?
Christine, it's Kristine, Pilgrim, Pilgrim.
Great. And I recognize you from previous hearings, so I know you are recognized by this division as an expert in land. So, Mr. Fordyce, go right ahead.
Good morning, Ms. Pilgrim. In this case, the application is seeking to pool 320 acres. It's in the north half of section 19, township 18 south, 27 east. There's 5 wells proposed. The Aggie wells, 1H, 2H, 3H, 31H, 32H. It's not maybe abundantly clear to me, but it seems as though, and maybe you can verify, that the north half of the north half is included as proximity tracks for the well, the Aggie well number 2H that's the defining well for this application. Is that correct?
Correct. Because that's what we had on there. Yes.
Okay, so I would just then, if that is correct, would like to direct your attention to page 58, which is the first page of the compulsory pooling application checklist. And then in the other situations section, it says proximity tracks, no, and proximity defining well, NA. So if I'm correct that the 2H is actually a proximity defining well, I believe we need corrections to this CPAC. Is that correct?
Gosh, yes, sir. I think it should be on there.
Okay, well, I think with that said, I would like to just then request that the CPAC be updated to reflect the proximity tracks, the proximity defining well, and that the CPAC, when it's resubmitted, be signed and dated.
Yes, sir.
And I have no further questions. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Holliday, would you please submit this information and continue the case to February the 5th?
Yes, sir. We'll do that.
All right, thank you. All right, we're off the record in this case. Let's move on to Cimarex Energy, 25779.
Good morning, Mr. Examiner. Dina Bennett on behalf of Cimarex Energy and Coterra Energy Operating. And there are no other parties that have entered an appearance in this case.
Thank you.
In this case, Cimarex Energy Co. of Colorado, who's the applicant, seeks an order pooling uncommitted interests in the south half of sections 2, 3, and 4, Township 25 South, Range 26 East, Eddy County. And Cimarex did file this application, but in the meantime, Cimarex has merged into Coterra. And so Coterra is requesting to be designated the operator under the order. And as part of this exhibit, as part of the materials, we submitted the usual suite of exhibits, including the land exhibits from our landman Keaton Curtis, who's previously testified before the division, and his his credentials have been accepted as a matter of record. Mr. Travis Sparks, the geologist for Coterra, has also been admitted and his credentials accepted. And then finally, I've included my notice materials, which show that notice was timely mailed and published on November 13th and November 18th respectively. And with that, I would ask that the exhibits in case number 25779 be admitted into the record and available for any questions the division may have.
The exhibits are admitted without exception. The case is taken under advisement. Thank you, Ms. Bennett.
Thank you.
Let's move on to Taprock Operating 25782.
Yes.
Mr. Examiner, did the technical examiner not have any questions for our witnesses?
No.
Oh, great. Thank you.
So Taprock Operating?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Examiner. Miguel Suazo with Beatty and Wozniak appearing today on behalf of Taprock Operating.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Hearing. I'm Examiner Adam Rankin with the Santa Fe Office of Holland and Hart, appearing on behalf of Sarvis Permian Land Fund, 1 SC, Sarvius Rockmount Permian Land Fund, and U.S. Energy Development.
And your position is that you're just monitoring?
We're monitoring the case, preserving rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Suazo.
Yes, Taprock's requesting approval of a standard horizontal spacing unit containing 1,280 acres, more or less, comprised of all of sections 3 and 10, Township 26 South, Range 25 East in Eddy County, New Mexico. This would be comprised of the PAPS Fedcom 202H, 204H, 211H, and 213H, which would produce from the Purple Sage Wolf Camp. The exhibit packet was filed on December 31st of 2025 and contains Exhibit A, which is the compulsory pooling checklist. Exhibit B is the application and the proposed notice of hearing, which was filed on November 10th, 2025. Exhibit C is the affidavit of senior landman Erica Shoemaker, who has previously testified before the division, and her qualifications have been accepted by the division as a matter of record. Exhibits C 1 through 6 are the standard suite of land exhibits. Exhibit D is the affidavit of Vice President of Geosciences, Matt Jones. Mr. Jones has also testified before the division, and his qualifications have been accepted and made a matter of record. His exhibits D1 through D5 are the standard suite of geology exhibits. And finally, Exhibit E is the notice affidavit showing that notice letters were mailed on November 13th of 2025 to the addresses of record of the interested parties. And proof of publication, the Carlsbad Current Argus was made on November 18th, 2025. All notices were timely and contemplate the holidays into the minimum days between notice and hearing. And with that, I'd like to request that the exhibits be admitted into the record and that the matters be taken under advisement, and I make the witnesses available for any questions.
Thank you. Your exhibits are admitted without exception. Mr. Fordyce, who do you have questions for?
I did not have any questions in this case, Mr. Hearing Examiner.
Okay. Then Mr. Suazo will take this case under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go on to Permian Resources. These are several cases, 25791 and 25792.
Yes, Jackie McLean on behalf of Permian Resources, and no other party has entered an appearance in these matters.
Right ahead.
Thank you. In these cases, Permian Resources seeks an order pulling all uncommitted interest in the Wolf Camp formation underlying the northwest quarter and southwest quarter of Section 1 and all of Sections 2 and 3, Township 23 South, Range 26 East in Eddy County. And these units will be dedicated to the Donnie Brasco Fedcom wells. We did timely submit exhibits for the case last week, but submitted an amended exhibit packet on Monday to include the resume of landman Matt Gray, who has actually not previously testified before the division. And we would like to have him admitted as an expert in petroleum land matters.
I don't believe we have questions for your land.
No, okay, then I take that back. Okay. We'll do it another time. Rather move on. Then we also include geology exhibits and our notice testimony, along with copies of the notice letter, which was timely sent on November 19th, as well as the affidavit of publication for November 29th. And with that, I ask that the exhibits be admitted for case numbers 25791 and 25792, and that the cases be taken under advisement.
Admitted without exception and both taken under advisement.
Thank you.
Let's move on to Tap Rock Operating. This is 25799, 25800.
Good morning, Mr. Examiner. Miguel Suazo again with Beatty Wozniak, appearing on behalf of Tap Rock Operating.
And good morning, Mr. Examiner. This is Jordan Kessler on behalf of EOG, monitoring the case on.
Thank you, Ms. Kessler. Mr. Suazo?
Yes, Tap Rock in these cases is requesting approval for a standard horizontal spacing unit and compulsory pooling. In case number 25799, they're seeking approval of a 320 acre, more or less, standard horizontal spacing unit comprised of all of the south half of the north half of sections 9 and 10, Township 25 South, Range 25 East in Eddy County, which would be comprised of the upslope Fedcom 152H and would produce from the Cottonwood Draw Bone Spring. And in case number 25800, Tap Rock seeking a 320 acre standard horizontal spacing unit comprised of the south half of sections 9 and 10, Township 25 South, Range 25 East, also in Eddy County. This would be comprised of the upslope Fedcom 154H and would also produce from the Cottonwood Draw Bone Spring. The exhibit packet was filed on December 31st of 2025. Exhibit A contains the compulsory pooling administrative checklists. Exhibit B is the application and the proposed notice of hearing, which was filed on November 21st, 2025. Exhibit C is the affidavit of senior lineman Erica Shoemaker, who has previously testified, and her qualifications have been accepted and made a matter of record. Exhibit C1 through C6 are the standard suite of land exhibits. Exhibit D is the affidavit of Vice President of Geoscience Matt Jones, who has also testified before the division, and his qualifications have been made a matter of record. D1 through D5 are the standard suite of geology exhibits. And finally, Exhibit Z is the notice affidavit showing that the notice letters were mailed on December 11th, 2025 to the addressees of record of the interested parties. All notice that ran in the Carlsbad Current Argus on December 17th, and they were timely and contemplate the holidays into the minimum days between notice and hearing. And with that, I'd like to request that the exhibits be admitted into the record and the matters be taken under advisement, and I make the witnesses available for any questions.
The exhibits are admitted without exception. The two cases are taken under advisement. Thank you, Mr. Suazo. Moving on now to Chevron USA 25803.
Good morning, Mr. Examiner. Dina Bennett on behalf of Chevron USA, Inc. And there are no other parties that have entered into appearance.
Thank you.
Thank you. In this case, Chevron seeks an order of pooling all uncommitted interests in a spacing unit underlying the west half of section 16 and 21, Township 25 South, Range 27 East, Eddy County, New Mexico. And in the materials that we provided, the division will see that the vertical extent that Chevron is seeking to pool is within the Bone Spring, but it's the second Bone Spring lower and the third Bone Spring. And that's discussed both in the compulsory pooling checklist as well as the landman's declaration. In support of the application, we've submitted the usual suite of exhibits, which include the self-affirmed declaration of Katie Halley, who's previously testified and her credentials have been accepted. The self-affirmed declaration of Hunter Birch, the geologist for Chevron. He has not previously testified before the division, and we've included his resume. And finally, my self-affirmed declaration showing that notice was timely mailed and that publication was timely both on December 11th and December 13th, respectively. With that, I would ask that the exhibits in case number 25803 be admitted into the record and the case be taken under advisement.
Thank you. Your exhibits are admitted without exception. Mr. Fordyce, who do you have questions for?
I have questions for the landman.
Landman. Is only the landman?
Only the landman.
Thank you. Can we call your landman?
Yes, thank you. Ms. Halley, if you're on, can you please turn your camera on? Right, can you hear me?
Yes. Good morning, Ms. Haley. Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Will you spell your name?
It is Katie and Halley.
All right, perfect. And you've been previously recognized as an expert before this division?
Yes, I have.
In what field?
In petroleum land management.
Thank you. Go right ahead, Mr. Fordyce.
Good morning, Ms. Hallie. I'd like to direct your attention to Exhibit A5, which is on page 28 of 70.
Okay, let me find it. Okay.
See on this page, a working interest owner, Trabajo del Spear, who is uncommitted, but is not indicated here as being pooled by being highlighted yellow. Wondered if you could clear up that discrepancy for me.
So they had elected to participate and I was just waiting on paperwork, which I received a few days ago. So they're fully committed at this point.
They are committed. So I would ask for an updated exhibit showing that they are committed rather than this exhibit A5 saying they're uncommitted.
Okay, we can do that.
And I have no further questions.
All right, thank you. Ms. Bennett, which exhibit would would your client have to revise?
We would need to revise Exhibit A5.
A5.
And I'm just looking at Exhibit A8, which is our summary of notice and also includes information on committed versus uncommitted. And I'm just scrolling to that right now. And in that Exhibit A8, we did note that Trabajo del Spear is committed. We were able to update that between the first exhibit and this final exhibit. So happy to update Exhibit A5 and get that to the division today. Given that both the land witness and Exhibit A8 both show that Trabajo del Spear is committed, I would ask that we not need to come back to the division if that's acceptable.
Let me ask Mr. Fordyce. Mr. Fordyce, would that require any further review once that's corrected?
No, I believe just this slight correction at Exhibit A5 would not warrant probably coming back to another hearing.
Okay, perfect. All right, so Ms. Bennett, if you submit a corrected exhibit packet with a cover letter and an A5 corrected, we will leave the record open for the rest of the day, and then we will close the record at the end of the day and take your case under advisement.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the consideration.
Yes. Okay, you're welcome. All right, Longfellow Energy, 25804.
Sharon Shaheen on behalf of Longfellow Energy.
Are there any other?
Yaritza Pena with Hardy McLean on behalf of XTO Holdings LLC, and we are simply monitoring.
Thank you, Ms. Pena. Ms. Shaheen, go right ahead.
Thank you. In this case, Longfellow seeks to pool the Yeso Formation in a standard 320 acre unit with proximity tracts in the south half of Section 33, Township 16 South, Range 31 East in Eddy County for the purpose of drilling the Van Halen 33 CD FedCom wells. Our exhibit list is on PDF page 2 of our revised exhibit package. In tab 1, we have the CPAP. Tab 2, the application. Exhibit A is tab 3. That's our self-affirmed statement of the landman who has previously testified before the division. It includes 6 sub-exhibits, including the new Exhibit A6, which reflects the status of the owners. Exhibit B is a self-affirmed statement of the geologist, Jacob DeHammer. He has previously testified before the division, and he has the usual exhibits attached to his self-affirmed statement. Finally, Exhibit C is my self-affirmed statement regarding notice. Sample notice letters went out to all interested parties. They were mailed December 15th and December 18th, which is timely. There's a chart of notice reflecting the certified mailings in Exhibit C2. And Exhibit C3 is the copies of the mail receipts. C4 is the affidavit of publication. I would note there was a little bit of a wrinkle in that upon learning that in communications with BP, Longfellow learned that the interest attributed to BP in the county records is actually now, we believe, owned by Hillcorp, and Longfellow has been communicating with all of them, BP, Apache, and Hillcorp, to get that cleared up. But in the meantime, we're force pulling all of those owners, and they all received notice. With that, I would ask that the exhibits be admitted into the record and that this case be taken under advisement.
Okay, your exhibits are admitted without exception. Who do you have questions for, Mr. Fordyce?
I have questions for the landman.
Ms. Shaheen, please. call
Yes,
your landman.
Mr. Gaston, I believe, is on the platform.
Okay, I recognize you, Mr. Gaston. Good
Yes,
morning. Would you
Good
please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, and you've been previously qualified as an expert in land?
Yes, sir, I have.
Mr. Fordyce, go ahead.
Good morning. I'd like to direct your attention to Exhibit A2, which is on page 35 of 94.
Yes, sir.
So this application is for Van Halen 33 CD wells in the south half of section 33. This exhibit appears to be for Van Halen 33 AB wells in the north half of section 33.
Yes, sir. I see.
So I
that.
believe we have the wrong exhibit attached to this application.
Yes, sir.
And would ask for a correction on that. And additionally, one small item, if you scroll down to the next page, the total number of acres in tract 2 is listed as 26.667, which I believe should be 80.
That's
So
correct. Yes,
I would
sir.
request those two corrections,
That's correct. Yes, sir.
and I have
We'll
no further
those-
questions.
Thank you.
Follow up, Ms. Shaheen.
I just want to make sure I understand. Replace Exhibit A2 because it is the wrong exhibit. It's for another case. And which tract do we have the incorrect acreage?
Tract 2,
Tract 2. Thank
the
you.
total number of acres in tract 2 is shown to be 26.66 currently. And I believe it should be 80.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms.
Thank you.
Shaheen, please continue your case to February 5th for further review.
Thank you.
We're off the record in this case. Let's move on to two Chevron cases, 25810, 25811.
Good morning, Mr. Examiner. Dina Bennett on behalf of Chevron in these two consolidated cases, and there are no other parties.
Please proceed.
Thank you. In these two companion cases, Chevron seeks orders pooling uncommitted interests in a Bone Spring on the one hand and Wolf Camp on the other spacing unit, comprised of all of Section 1, Township 24 South, Range 32 East, Lee County, New Mexico. And as I noted in the compulsory pooling checklist, these spacing units are technically non-standard, but Chevron has already applied for and received approval of the non-standard units administratively. In support of our applications, we submitted the usual suite of exhibits, including the self-affirmed declaration of Douglas Crawford, the land professional who's previously testified before the division, the self-affirmed declaration of Darcel Wright, a Chevron's geologist who has not previously testified before the division, but whose resume we have included. And then my self-affirmed declaration showing that notice was timely mailed and published on December 12th and December 17th respectively. With that, I would ask that the exhibits in cases 25810 and 25811 be admitted into the record and the cases be taken under advisement.
The exhibits are admitted without exception. Mr. Fordyce, who do you have questions for?
I have questions for the geologist.
Okay, so we got to get the geologist qualified. Would you call your geologist?
Sorry, Ms. Wright, if you could please turn your camera on. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Wright, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, very good. Would you spell your name, please?
Darsel, Wright, Wright.
Great. And who are you employed by?
I'm employed by Chevron.
Chevron. How long have you been employed by Chevron?
I've been employed since July 2024 with a previous internship over the summer of 2023.
Okay. In what capacity are you employed with Chevron?
I'm a full-time asset geologist currently.
All right, let's go a little bit into your background. What education do you have toward that qualification?
I started with a bachelor's in petroleum geoscience. This was done I graduated in 2008. And then I went on to do a master's degree in geology, in which I did some work on some field work in deltaic deposits and a thesis. And then I did a master's degree recently, which I graduated in 2024 in data analytics to help understand large quantities of data.
Who issued the degrees?
So the bachelor's was done in Trinidad and Tobago at the University of the West Indies. The master's in geology was done at the University of Houston, and the master's in data analytics was done at Texas A&M University.
Okay. And who have you worked for as a geologist before?
After my bachelor's degree, I worked for Trinidad, part of LMKR, so Landmark in Trinidad. That was after I completed 2 internships during my bachelor's degree with the petroleum company of Trinidad and Tobago, Petrotrin. After that, and doing my master's.
Hold on, Ms. Wright. So that I don't have to go backward.
Sorry.
What were the dates that you worked for the Trinidad company, and what was your position there?
I was a geologist from 2008 to 2010.
And what were your duties? What were your duties there?
My duties were to interpret well logs and to consult for size works and strat works and all of the open works products for BP Trinidad.
Okay. And then when you left there?
I left there to do my master's in geology at the University of Houston, after which I was employed with BP from 2012 to 2015.
As what? Employed as what?
As a geologist, sorry.
And
Yes.
and your job description there was what?
My job description was a geologist in which I worked in appraisal and I worked in exploration for BP. So I worked there, Alaskan units, the Gulf of America, and the Utica areas.
Okay. And then from after BP?
After BP, I then took some time off. I was actually a stay-at-home mom for some time. And then I went back into doing a degree in data analytics. So I got another master's degree in data analytics with Texas A&M, at which point Chevron gave me an internship in 2023 as a geologist. I worked doing data analytics on geology for them during the internship. And then I was employed full-time as a development geologist. So I've been an asset geologist for the past 6 months. Before that, I was development geologist, in which I also worked in the shale and tight and the Permian areas.
Okay. Is there a specific field that you seek qualification from this division, or a more general field of geology?
Currently, I'm a general geologist.
Perfect. So from here on in, Ms. Wright, this division considers you an expert in the field of geology. Mr. Fordyce, go right ahead.
Okay.
Good morning. I'd like to direct you to case 25810, Exhibit B3, page 60.
Okay.
I guess what I'm going to ask is, can you identify the wells that were used in this cross-section? As I'm unable to read them, the well names appear to be unlegible. And so I would ask that this exhibit be revised with legible well names and include API numbers with them.
Okay.
And since we're going to correct that, the title of your slides or the well names used in your slides do not match the application. The application is MR1 federal wells, and this says MR 2432 FedCom wells in your exhibits. Since we're going to correct exhibit B3, if you could make those corrections, that would be great. I have the same request for case 25811 in those exhibits, and would also like to point out an error in the compulsory pooling application checklist. That's on page 5 for well number 4. The completion target is listed as Wolf Camp A. But for this case, the completion target should be 3rd Bone Spring.
Okay.
And that's all the questions I had for that one.
Mr. Fordyce, does this require further review?
If those corrections could be made, no, I don't think we need to do anything other than verify that the corrections were made.
Okay.
Okay. How long will it take for you to submit this? Today?
I
Ms.
can
Wright?
get this. I can get this submitted today. Yes.
All right. So Ms. Bennett, same thing with the other one, cover letter. The record will remain open until the end of today. Doesn't require further review from Mr. Fordyce. So we'll take this under advisement once you submit that.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. And Mr. Fordyce, or better yet, Ms. Wright, which exhibit are you amending?
I am amending exhibit B3 for both cases. Is that
B3
correct?
for both cases. Okay. Mr. Fordyce, is that correct? Is that the only exhibit?
B3, in case 25810, yeah, it's B3 that has the cross section, but I would like the well names corrected on the headers while we're doing it for exhibits B2, B3, and B5. And then for case 25811, there's a scrivener's error in the CPAC for well number 4 completion target.
And Mr. Examiner, I will prepare the revised CPAC, and I understand what needs to be done there.
All right. So Ms. Wright, it sounds like B2, B3, and B5 all need to be corrected.
Okay. Will do.
All right. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Fordyce, thank you. Ms. Wright, thank you.
Thank you.
We're off the record in those two cases. Let's go to Permian Resources, 25830.
Yes, Jackie McLean on behalf of Permian Resources, and EOG has entered an appearance in this case.
Okay.
But has not
case,
objected.
I was looking to see whether I have to turn my page over. You have two other cases as well following this. Are they, they're not yours?
Well, they're not part of the two-phase spacing unit.
So this is by itself.
Yes.
Very good. 25830 and Jackie McLean for Permian Resources. Who's representing EOG?
This
I
is
believe
Jordan
Miss-
Kessler,
Ah, there we are.
correct, on behalf of EOG. We're monitoring this.
Thank you, Ms. Kessler. Okay, Ms. McLean, go right ahead.
Thank you. And just to begin with, case number 25828 was initially included in the pre-hearing statement for case number 25830, but we filed a notice of dismissal for that
Thank you
case.
for the clarification.
And in case 25830, Permian Resources seeks an order pulling all uncommitted interests in the Wolf Camp formation in lots 1 through 6 of section, or 1 through 16 of section 6, township 21 south, range 33 east, and all of section 36, township 20 south, range 33 east in Lee County, New Mexico. And this unit will be dedicated to the two-phase state-com wells. Permian Resources has received administrative approval of the non-standard spacing unit under Administrative Order NSP 2335. Exhibits were submitted timely for this case and include land, geology, and notice exhibits, which show that we sent notice to all interested parties on December 16th and notice and an affidavit of publication for December 21st. And I ask that the exhibits be admitted for case number 25830 and that the case be taken under advisement.
Thank you. The exhibits are admitted without exception. Mr. Fordyce, who do you have questions for?
I have questions for the geologist.
Geologist, okay.
That
Should I
is
call your geologist?
Mr. Canton.
Hello. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Yes, let me work my camera real quick.
Okay, very good. Mr. Canton, I recognize your name. I don't recognize your face, though. You've been previously qualified as an expert for this division?
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. Would you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can put your hand down. Spell your name, please.
CHRISCANTIN.
Okay, very good. Mr. Fordyce?
Good morning, Mr. Kent. I'd like to direct your attention to Exhibit B3, which is on page 64.
One second, let me pull it up real quick. Okay. You said B2?
Exhibit B3, I believe, on page 64.
Okay. I have my personal one up, so I don't have the page number. It is the structure map. Is that correct?
Yeah, I wanted to clear up a discrepancy that the title of your slide is Third Bone Spring Structure Map.
Yes.
But I'm thinking this should be for the Wolf Camp. So I just wanted to clarify and verify this discrepancy. Is it Third Bone Spring or is it Wolf Camp?
Yes, base of Third Bone Spring, top of Wolf Camp. It must have just been a misprint on mine from a previous Bone Spring exhibit. But yes, it's I typically use the top of Wolf Camp for this, which is also the base of the Bone Spring. I can have that amended if you want me to.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, so everything matches and there's no discrepancies or confusion for this Wolf Camp case. Exhibit B3 and actually Exhibit B4 and B5, they all reference Bone Springs in their labeling.
Yes, I can get that amended for you. It's just a copy paste that didn't change from the two-face Bone Spring pooling exhibits I was working on.
All right, thank you, Mr. Canton. I would also like to point out in the CPAC on page 2, there's another scrivener there for well number 2. Well number 2 should be the two-face FedCom 203H, not STACOM, as that J-turn well goes through a federal track.
Correct. I'll look to land to answer that, but we can get that changed.
We can correct that. And can we ask that we submit it by the end of the day, since these are just typographical
Yes,
errors?
I was gonna say that. So Mr. Hanton, what exhibits are you gonna modify?
I'm going to modify. See, it's going to be B3, B4, and B5, bone spring, and change that to wolf camp.
And then, Ms. McLean, you're gonna change the CBAC, right?
Yes.
All right, sounds good. So, Mr. Fordyce, that comports with what you want them to do, B3, B4, B5?
That is correct.
All right, perfect. All right, thank you. All right, so Ms. McLean, if you can get this in today, we will leave the record open. These are not changes that require any further review, and we'll take this case under advisement at 5 o'clock today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Moving on to Permian Resources, 25856.
Good morning, Mr. Hearing Examiner. Yaritza Pena with Hardy McLean on behalf of Permian Resources Operating.
Thank you. Do you want to present 25866 at the same time?
Yes, please.
Perfect. Go right ahead.
Thank you. I believe.
One moment, Mr.
Yes.
Examiner, another entry of appearance, please. This is Carrie
Yes,
Hatley
by all
entering her
means.
appearance on behalf of COG Operating, and we are monitoring only.
All right, thank you, Ms. Hatley.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. And just for the division to know, we also dismissed 25864 and 25861 prior to hearing that were consolidated with these two cases.
Thank you.
In these two cases, Permian seeks an order pulling all uncommitted interest in the first Bone Spring interval of the Bone Spring Formation in an overlapping horizontal standard or spacing unit in the west half and east half west half of sections 27 and 22, Township 22 South, Range 35 East in Lee County. And these two units will be dedicated to the Bridge State Unit 27 wells. Permian is also seeking approval of the overlapping spacing unit in each of these cases, as well as there is a depth severance in the Bridge State units, and Permian only seeks to pull those uncommitted interests from the top of the Bone Spring Formation to the base of the first Bone Spring interval. Exhibits were timely submitted for this case last week and include land testimony and corresponding exhibits of Reagan Armstrong, who has previously testified before the division, and the geology testimony and corresponding exhibits of Cole Hendrickson, who has also previously been admitted to testify as an expert in geology before the division. Finally, we include our notice testimony that shows that we timely sent notice to all interested parties on December 17th, 2025, and the affidavit of publication for December 21st, 2025. With that, I ask that the exhibits be admitted for case numbers 25856 and 866, and that the cases be taken under advisement.
Your exhibits are admitted without exception, and the two cases are taken under advisement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to Catamount Energy Partners, 25764, 25765.
Good morning, Mr. Hearing Examiner. Rayleigh Starnes with the Santa Fe office of Holland and Hart on behalf of Catamount Energy Partners. And I don't think there are any other appearances.
You're right. Thank you.
Both of these cases, Catamount seeks orders extending the drilling deadlines under each of their respective pooling orders for 1 year. In support of these applications, we filed the usual hearing packets and exhibits, including the original pooling orders, the self-affirmed statements of the landman, Denise Greer, the statements of notice, as well as the affidavits of publication.
Is it Ms. Starr, as you said?
Starnes, Starnes. Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm wondering why we have a bunch of amendment cases, and I wonder, why did you file them? Did you have objection?
No, to my knowledge, actually, all of the amendment cases
Yes.
I'm about to present have no objections.
Okay.
We filed these in that in-between time before we got the guidance on the new processes.
All right.
So unless there are any questions, we would ask that these exhibits be admitted into the record and the cases be taken under advisement.
And is this a good cause extension?
This is the first request for extension, so no, but our landman is on line if you would like to ask her any questions about that.
Okay, so maybe I didn't ask it right. Let me ask it differently. Is this amendment for an extension of time?
Yes.
But it's not based on good cause.
It's based on the order language. It just says the first extension is kind of automatically granted unless there are any objections.
Okay.
And then second and third would require a showing of good cause.
So in the future, you wouldn't file these in front of the hearing bureau. You would go through some other procedure and then file it directly with the technical team.
I think the new procedure has us file it as a status report progress update, kind of quasi-administrative letter.
Let me ask.
We're working on that now.
Let me ask Mr. Fordyce. Mr. Fordyce, in the future, how would something like this without objection be filed?
I believe it would, I'll have to pull it up, but follow the, I'm looking for it now. If you give me a moment.
By all means, take your time because I think it helps everyone since it's a new process.
The notice that, I'm pulling it up now. The notice, that I believe was, dated November 1st, 2025, outlines, providing notice to the affected parties, monitoring for objections and submitting, the application for deviation, to OCD permitting. And then, in addition to that notice, there was sort of a question and answer document that was circulated outlining some further details, like to submit it using the submission type here, order compliance progress report.
Okay,
If that
perfect.
answers your question.
It does answer my question. So this language in the order that you're talking about, is that new? Is that language that the division has put in new orders for that almost automatic first extension?
I think, and others can correct me, I think it's the last year or so that these orders started containing that paragraph.
Okay. All right.
So,
Okay, very good. Okay, your exhibits are admitted into evidence. Mr. Fordyce, any questions on these two cases?
Only that, since this is a new process, I would just say the application does say that there's good cause. And since the landman's affidavits and documents don't say what that good cause is, I would say, well, the application says there's good cause, but there's no discussion of what the good cause is. And, this is sort of, as we're all aware, a new process. So rather than asking the landman to explain what the good cause is, if it's intended that these cases if there are no questions or objections, sort of be automatically taken under advisement, then perhaps I don't have questions for these two cases.
Thank you. So was there a reason? Because that's why I asked you about the good cause, because I saw it in your application.
I think that we had submitted this application prior to these new guidances coming out, and then we had to kick it to this docket for various reasons. And in the interim, once we got that new language, we kind of tailored her affidavit to meet the automatic requirement. But I am happy to either amend the application and
I
remove
don't think
that.
it's necessary, but I guess what I'm saying though is since the order itself doesn't require good cause, I'm wondering why the application, which was filed after the order and to amend the order, talked about good cause when it wasn't necessary.
I think we drafted this application the way we've just always drafted applications for extensions.
All right. So in the future, if the order doesn't require good cause, you won't put that in.
That's correct.
All right,
Yes.
sounds good. Okay, these two cases are taken under advisement. Thank you, Ms. Starnes. Moving on to Matador production, it looks like we have about four of them that are together, 257, 80, 81, 83, and 84.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Hearing Examiner. Again, Rayleigh Starnes with the Santa Fe office of Holland and Hart on behalf of MRC Permian Company. And these are for applications for extension requests under their original pooling orders.
Do the orders require good cause or not?
These are the same order language that are the automatic, ideally the automatic granting of the first extension, but we did go ahead and fill everything.
I understand. Has notice been conducted properly?
Yes.
It has. And timely?
Yes.
Okay. And you're offering exhibits in these four cases?
We are, and if there are no questions, I'd ask that they be admitted into the record.
Okay. And they are admitted into the record without exception. I don't believe we have any questions, do we, Mr. Fordyce?
No, not in these cases.
Not in these cases. They are all taken under advisement. Thank
Great,
you. Mr.
thank you.
Fordyce. Moving on to a Matador case 25785.
Hello again, Rayleigh Starnes with the Santa Fe office of Holland and Hart on behalf of MRC Permian Company. And we are once again asking for a 1-year extension under the pooling order with the same newer language for the automatic granting of the first extension.
So the notice was timely?
Notice was timely and we have not received any objection.
Perfect. Your exhibits are admitted without exception. Mr. Fordyce, questions on this case?
No questions on this case.
All right, this case is taken under advisement. Now we're moving on to Chevron USA 25816, 25817.
Good morning, Mr. Hearing Examiner Paula Vance with the Santa Fe office of Holland and Hart on behalf of the applicant Chevron USA.
Thank you.
And there are no other parties involved here. So these are a request for an extension. This is a first request for extension. And I believe we put good cause in there as well. But it's got all of the usual things that to be included with these hearing packets. So we've included a copy of the extension application, the original pooling order, and then the self-affirmed statement of our landman, Douglas Crawford, who has previously testified before the division, and his credentials have been accepted as a matter of record. We did provide the evidentiary notice exhibit because we were still a little unsure of, at the time we were putting this together, what the requirements are, and we've obviously gotten some clarification there. I did want to note on these that both involve just pulling the overrides. And since we have filed everything, I did get an update that some of these, the request is an extension for completion rather than to drill. And so a couple of the wells have come online. So in case 25816, well 222H has come online this in December, and the same with the 223H. And then for case 25817, the 624 is also online as well. And we do have our landman available for any questions. And but if there are none, either way, I would ask that the exhibits and the sub-exhibit be admitted into the record and these cases be taken under advisement at this time.
Was your notice timely?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And you had no objections?
No.
No. Okay. Your exhibits are admitted without exception. Mr. Fordyce, questions on these two Chevron cases?
Yeah, I did have some questions based on the wells were spud in December 2024 in case 25816. I didn't know if that was like a surface only. Are they drilled? And also based on when the orders were issued in 25816, that was September 2nd of last year. In 25817, that was February 19th of last year. So just wanted to clarify, are the wells just spud with a surface pipe? Are they drilled? Are we asking for, obviously it wouldn't make sense to ask for an extension based on the order date. We're asking, the request is for an extension based on the spud dates in 2024. Just wanted to clear those items up.
Okay, well, let's get the landman. That's the only witness right now, right?
That's correct. We've
Okay.
got Mr. Crawford, who is available.
Great.
And I would note, just to put it on the record, that Chevron owns an interest in each of the tracks that the wells penetrated. And again, these relate to pooling overrides.
Mr. Crawford, would you please raise your right hand? You swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, Mr. Crawford. Would you spell your name?
Douglas Crawford, Douglas, last name Crawford.
And you've been previously admitted as an expert before this division?
That is correct.
In what field?
Petroleum land management.
Okay, Mr. Fordyce, which exhibit do you want to direct your witness to first?
I don't know that I'm looking at a specific exhibit. Let me pull this up. Just noting that in the application, that would be page 3, I believe.
And
The-
I can share my screen.
We're gonna put it on the screen, Mr. Fordyce and Mr. Crawford. Which paragraph of the application, Mr. Fordyce?
Paragraph 2 says that the 222H was spud on December 20th of 2024, and the 223H and 224H were spud December 21st. So I was just wanting clarification. If those wells are spud and just have like a surface pipe, or are they drilled? And then,
Well, hold on, let's get the answer to that question first.
The wells have been drilled. We haven't finished drilling yet, but they have been drilled. They have not yet been completed.
okay. So then the order for 25816, pooling the record title and overrides, that was issued September 2nd of last year. And in
When you say that-
25817,
Mr. Fordyce, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but when you
Yeah.
say, instead of saying last year, could you give us a year?
yeah, September 2nd of 2025, and 25817, an order was issued February 19th of 2025. Again, for record title and overrides. So I'm just clarifying that it would not make sense based on specifically 25817 to extend 1 year from February of 2025. So you're requesting an extension for 1 year beyond those spud dates. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. That is all I really wanted to ask and clear up
Okay.
on these 2 cases.
Then it sounds like these cases can be taken under advisement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Ms. Vass.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Crawford. All right, let's call Coterra Energy 25826.
Good morning, Mr. Examiner, Dina Bennett, on behalf of Coterra Energy Operating, and no other parties have entered an appearance in this case.
Okay.
In this case, Coterra Energy is seeking an extension of time to commence drilling the wells authorized under Order R 23624. That order was issued to Avant Operating, and Coterra acquired Avant Operating's interest, and so Coterra is the successor in interest. This order, the order R 23624, was issued before the division changed its form of order to allow for extensions of time without good cause and by following the alternative procedure. And so that is why we included good cause in the application. And also Mr. Roberson, the landman for Coterra, who's previously testified before the division and his credentials have been accepted, includes in paragraph 13 the good cause for the extension of time, which includes that the acquisition of Avant has created some delays, as well as the acquisition of Franklin Mountain Energy. So they acquired a lot of assets and are working through those. And there's been some unanticipated changes in economic conditions that he lays out in his affidavit in paragraph 13. So again, this is a application to seek an amendment to the order for an additional year to commence drilling under the wells. To commence drilling the wells under the order. I've included the usual exhibits, which are the self-affirmed statement of Trey Roberson and my self-affirmed statement showing that notice was timely mailed and timely published, including on December 16th for the mailing. And we did 2 publications, December 17th and December 21st, and both of those are timely. With that, I would ask that the exhibits in case number 25826 be taken be admitted into the record and the case be taken under advisement.
Exhibits are admitted without exception. Mr. Fordyce, do you have any questions for this case?
Yes, I do have questions for the landman on this case.
Landman, would you call your landman?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Roberson, if you could please turn your camera on.
All right.
I recognize you, Mr. Robertson. Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Would you spell your name?
It's Trey, Trey, Robertson, Roberson.
Great. And you've been accepted by this division in the field of land. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Very good. Mr. Fordyce.
Good morning. I'd like to point you to page 4, which is Exhibit A, your self-affirmed statement. And on page 4, bullet paragraph 15, says that Coterra requests an extension of time for 1 year from January 14th, 2026. But then I'd like to point out, if you could direct your attention to page 19, there's a estimated or proposed development plan that's also attached in the exhibits as A3. So I guess my confusion here is a little bit is just wanted to discuss is Coterra asking for a 1-year extension to drill all 9 wells, or is there some other proposal, some reasonable timeline that is being proposed, similar to what's in Exhibit A3?
Yes, our proposal is the timeline in A3. We would spud the initial wells within the first year, which is the 504H and the 505H, and then subsequently develop the remainder of the 9 wells within the time frame on Exhibit A3.
So in your timeline, when it says, for example, within 5 years of signature, are you discussing 5 years from the signature of the original order, or are you discussing 5 years from the signature of an extension? As typically development plans that we see, for example, in competing cases, don't typically go beyond 5 years. So I guess what I'm thinking is, is your development plan suggesting that these 9 wells maybe be drilled within a total time frame of 6 or 7 years? Or exactly what we're talking about?
So since we have not spud the first 2 wells, this would be within 1 year of the extension. And so we would spud the first wells there, and then subsequently 5 years after that. So 6 years from now.
Does Coterra feel that there's any way to tighten up that timeline?
I
So
would
that these 9 wells are not 6
anticipate-
years out?
I would anticipate that we drill them quicker. We are a little further northern in the basin than when some of these have been drilled. And so seeing the production from some of our other wells that we've drilled will allow us to continue to develop this. We have developed the south half of this section. And so we are currently monitoring that production, which will help with the development of the north half.
Okay, so this is your proposed development plan, and Coterra wouldn't feel like it was prudent to propose a more timely development plan?
If you recommend that we expedite it, we certainly can. This was conservative, but we could expedite it if we need to.
honestly, I would think that the division, again, saying like, these development plans that may contain 16 wells for contested hearings typically don't go beyond 5 years. I think the division would like to see a little more progress being made than, these 9 wells in, say, 6 years or 7 years, if you count a completion time. But those were the questions that I had for you, Mr. Roberson.
I would note that this is also a half-mile development, so this is the equivalent of 18 wells in a section also, because we have already drilled, I believe it's 9 or 11 in Alpha Wolf to the south. So this is a considerable amount of wells for a section in this area.
Okay. I have no further questions. I appreciate your time, Mr. Roberson.
Sir.
Hey, Mr. Roberson, what are you going to be submitting to the division?
We can submit a revised A3 development plan.
Okay. What were you going to say, Ms. Bennett?
That is what I was going to suggest,
okay.
is that we take the time necessary to address Mr. Fordyce's concerns in a revised A3. And rather than have the division have concerns over the development timeline, we'd rather address it proactively. But it might take a week, I'd say, to address that. So I understand this one would require us more likely than not to come back. So we're happy to do that.
Yeah, we'll put it at the beginning of the February 5th docket once you continue it there.
Thank you.
Would you issue a cover letter?
Yes, of course.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we're off the record. In that case, thank you, Mr. Robertson. Moving on to Permian Resources, 25848.
Good morning, Mr. Hearing Examiner. Yeah, we're still in the morning. Paula Vance with the Santa Fe Office of Holland and Hart on behalf of the applicant, Permian Resources, or Reed and Stevens. And this is a request for a 1-year extension. Again, this is a first extension. We've included the consolidated exhibits, a copy of the application, the original pooling order, the self-affirmed statement of Sean Johnson, who you already spoke with this morning. And we did include a updated pooling exhibit because one of the interests was sold. And so we noted that in an updated pooling exhibit. We also included the evidentiary notice exhibit. And then along with my timely notice, both the letter notice and NOP. And unless there are any questions, I would ask that the exhibit and sub-exhibits be admitted into the record and that this case be taken under advisement.
Thank you. The exhibits are admitted without exception. The case is taken under advisement.
Thank you.
And finally, we go to Spur Energy Partners, 25849.
Mr. Examiner, Dana Hardy with Hardy McLean on behalf of Spur Energy Partners.
Go right ahead.
Thank you. In this case, Spur seeks to pool additional uncommitted overriding royalty interest under the terms of order R23889. Our exhibits include the land testimony and exhibits of Colleen Bradley, who has previously been admitted to testify as an expert in land matters before the division. We provided our notice testimony and exhibits, which shows that notice was timely sent on December 19th and that we timely published on December 20th. So with that, I would ask that the exhibits be admitted and that the case be taken under advisement.
Perfect. The exhibits are admitted without exception. The case is taken under advisement. Thank you, Ms. Hardy.
Thank you.
That concludes our business for today. Are there any other issues that anyone has? Not hearing any. We're off the record.
Thank you.